Most of us think of flooding as a disaster, something to prevent, control, and then clean up after. But what if I told you in nature, it's not a disaster at all? It's actually a design feature. I am standing in the Cosumnes River Floodplain. This is one of the last rivers in California that is still allowed to do what rivers are supposed to do: flood their banks and flow out over the surrounding landscape. In this video, we're going to be talking about floodplains, what they are, how they work, and why they are critically important to both healthy ecosystems, groundwater recharge, and even flood control. We'll also be digging into how most of California's rivers have been cut off from their floodplains due to dams, levees, other water conveyance infrastructure, and really what impacts that has had on the habitat, wildlife, and even downstream communities. By the end of this video, I want you to be looking at floodplains differently, not just as a problem we have to solve, but as a process that we can actually work with. And Cosumnes is the perfect place to tell that story because it can show us what's possible when rivers have room to roam. So what is a floodplain anyway? A floodplain is the low-lying or flat area adjacent to a river that historically would flood seasonally during high flow events. This would give the river space to get out of the main river channel and spread out across the landscape. Seasonal flooding used to be a normal part of the cycle, not an anomaly. How it works is the river will flood, overflow its banks, and flow out onto the surrounding landscape, which slows the water down. This causes it to both drop nutrients and its sediment load, making the soil in floodplains actually really fertile. The slow-moving water out on the landscape would also percolate down into the soil, recharging groundwater, and create a wide diversity of different riparian habitats. Could create seasonal wetlands and marshes, oxbow lakes, riparian forests like this one around us right now. Floodplains are also incredibly important to lots of wildlife. Juvenile fish, including juvenile salmon, would use the floodplains as kind of their nursery. This would allow them to get out of the main river channel, which is going to be flowing really fast, and get out onto these side channels, shallower water where they could rest. There's also a lot more food. This shallow water would warm up, which the sun would help produce algae in that water and zooplankton, and that was a really important food source for those little baby fish. Those shallow waters were also excellent habitat for migratory waterfowl and shorebirds. Frequent floodplain inundation was also crucial for lots of riparian plants and trees, including cottonwoods, willows. These valley oaks actually love a little seasonal flooding. And a river having access to its historic floodplain actually helps with flood protection because slowing the water down out on the floodstream reduces those really heavy flows further downstream. Unfortunately, up to 95% of California's natural floodplains have been damaged, removed, or disconnected from the river channel. California has some of the most complex water conveyance and infrastructure systems in the entire world. This is a big combination of dams, levees, channels, and water diversion structures. When we try to control rivers too tightly, we're often creating the exact problem we're trying to avoid. Floodplains are a good reminder that water needs time, space, and connection to the land. Places like Cosumnes show us that floodplains are not wasted land. They provide important ecosystem services, support wildlife, and protect communities. Whether floods will happen or not is not really a question. The real question is whether we are going to design our built landscapes in a way that works with them or against them. There are actually a lot of efforts happening right now across the state to help reconnect rivers with their historic floodplains in a way that is beneficial to both the ecosystems and environment and the people living nearby. So the next time you hear about a flood, I hope you think beyond just the damage it caused and also think about the natural processes that are just trying to do their job. Be safe, everyone, and be sure to subscribe for more interesting California ecology.